How to travel. Step 1, book a flight. Step 2, plot your spots and book accommodation. Step 3, make some friends and hit the track. Step 4, send it. All this and how to do it cheaply and much, much more. After 5 years of traveling around the globe, visiting 26 countries, all whilst living away from home and having next to no money, I've created this video to share some tips and things that I have learned along the way to help you get to those places, meet the faces, and have those life-changing experiences that you cannot find anywhere else. Thunder. All without burning a hole in your wallet. So, in previous videos, the windows are vibrating. In previous videos, I've covered how to get cheap flights and accommodation and the best destinations to go to. In this video, we're going to talk about transport options and how to get to the places you want to see, as well as some good tips for making friends and meeting people along the way. First things first, when you go somewhere, you'll generally land at an airport, and the most expensive trip that you'll need to take is from the airport to wherever you're going first. So here are a few tips on how to get from the airport for cheap. Chances are that you're sitting next to someone on the flight to your next destination. Use this as an opportunity to talk to them and ask how they are getting from the airport to where they're going. Chances are they're going to be taking an Uber, a Grab, or a cab that you might be able to split the bill on. Even better, if they're a welcoming local, they might be getting picked up by some family or friends and offer you a place to stay or a ride to wherever you're going. Cabs and taxis. Cabs and taxis are expensive wherever you go. However, some airports only allow cabs to pick people up. This is annoying as Uber, Grab, Ola, or any other similar service are usually significantly cheaper. When you're at an airport, buy a SIM card. You will need it and the convenience is worth it. Once you have data working, you can try and order an Uber or similar service to take you exactly to where you need to go. The best thing about this is it's a fixed fee and you know exactly what you're going to pay. If you have to take a taxi or a cab, show the driver where you are going and ask how much roughly so that you have some idea. Be sure to check the map as you drive along and make sure that they're taking you where you need to go and not for a joyride and overcharging you. A bloke did this to us in China, but it was actually awesome. He showed us all these cool places, 20-lane highways and really beautiful areas, and even though he overcharged us, it was only like 15 Australian dollars anyway. Which is another great point. The ride from the airport is going to be expensive regardless, so look out the window and enjoy it. There is lots to see. Talk to the driver and ask for recommendations and add them to your map that you made in the other video. There's usually a bus or train service of sorts running from the airport to the city centre. This is great, but it won't take you exactly where you want to go, and you might just have to catch a taxi or Uber from wherever it drops you anyway. Going back to the formula of time, value and cost, I have found it is usually most convenient to just get a cab or Uber to drop you off to your accommodation so that you can ditch your big bag, relax for a bit and then go exploring instead of trying to sort out a bus in a new country, getting currency to pay for that ticket and then getting dropped off in the middle of nowhere and having to organize another ride to wherever you're trying to go. Sometimes you can save money by taking the longer route where you might learn more, but paying for convenience every now and then can save you time and sometimes money too. Once you're at your destination or first cluster of plotted points, see the previous video if you want to learn how to do this. Talk to a local or try to find a place that you can rent a motorbike or a car from. If you aren't confident on hiring either of these, go for a bicycle, Uber or a bus. A motorcycle or car can be expensive, however they are essential if the places you want to see are far away from each other. Plus they are always worth it, as they give you the freedom to go anywhere, stop anywhere, and go to places that you would otherwise have to spend money on buses or Ubers to get to. If you're still in the planning stages of your trip and you have a friend at home with a motorbike or scooter, ask them to teach you how to ride it, as this will give you the skills and experience and confidence to ride one when you are traveling. If you're in Asia, watch out for potholes, dogs on the road, and don't ride at nighttime, as the bugs will be attracted to the headlight and kamikaze into your face as you drive at high speeds. Not comfortable, dangerous, don't do it. I discussed briefly in another video the benefits of staying in hostels because of how cheap they are and the friends you can make in them. However, a lot of people just stay in hostels without having planned as much as you have with these destinations to visit and ways of getting there. When you have your own transportation, you can set the standard for others of how you travel. If you have a car, it's super easy to invite anyone you meet to come for an adventure to this place that you want to see. And more often than not, you can split the petrol bill, and if you keep traveling together for a few days, the cost of the rental car can be split up as well. Otherwise, just tell anyone you meet where you hide the scooter from and convoy around wherever you want to go. This brings me to my next point of how to make friends whilst you are traveling, particularly if you're traveling solo. When you are in an environment of staying in hostels, traveling around, the people you meet along the way are almost always incredible and like-minded because they're doing the same thing as you. This alone will help you to make friends who not only share common interests, but who are also so wildly different from you. Before I started traveling, I struggled to talk to people. I got really nervous about what people might think of me, and I couldn't initiate conversation to save my life. It wasn't until I started traveling around just being lonely that I realized that most people think in the same self-conscious way. I practiced talking to people in the streets and on trains. Simple things like if I liked someone's hat, I'd just say, "Hey, I like your hat." Eventually I learned to develop this into a conversation of sorts, ask them where they are from, and if the conversation slowed down, I would ask them for the best place that they had traveled to, and then add it to my map of places to visit. Funnily enough, this is actually how I met my fiance, so I promise you it works. I think the main thing of all the things that I have learned throughout traveling around is that no matter where you go, humans seek connection with each other. Even if they can't speak the language or can't initiate conversation, everyone is out there just hoping and waiting for someone to interact with them. Obviously there are simple signs to read of people not to talk to, but more often than not, people crave connection but lack the ability to initiate it. When you're traveling, practice initiating conversation as much as possible. And if they choose to reject you, then that says nothing about you, but everything about what's going on for them. Don't be disheartened, move on to cooler people and keep trying. And even if you embarrass yourself or screw it up dramatically, the chances of you ever seeing them again are so slim it doesn't even matter. Nowadays, I talk to everyone I see. People on trains, planes, buses, or the person serving me at the supermarket. Break away from small talk as soon as you can. Connect with people, ask them a random question or opinion, and I guarantee they'll judge themselves and their answer quicker than they can judge you for talking to them. And worst case scenario, ask them for a spot to add to your map. Honestly, the amount of places that I've swiped from absolute strangers is just absurd. Half of my map is from people like that. That's some loud thunder. Goodness. I want to give you an example of how making conversation has changed my experience and my future, because I think this is such an epic story. When I was traveling through Santorini, I had all my spots plotted out and ready to go exploring. I went to hire a quad bike so I could get where I wanted to go, but the age limit to hire one was 21. I was only 19 and traveling solo, so I walked down the road and sat under a tree to get out of the sun. I saw a dude walking down the road towards me with the same Sony camera as me, with the exact same 85mm f1.8 lens. I quickly got out my camera and put on my 85mm lens, and I went, "Oi, the Sony a7R II with an 85mm f1.8 lens, what a combo." He turned around and laughed, and we walked down the road talking about cameras. It turns out that he was a chef from America looking for the best food in Greece, but he was sick of walking everywhere. I then discovered that he was 26. I said, "Yo, let's be friends. I'll give you 150 euros to hire me a quad bike and we can go see all these locations and eat at all the places that you want to go." So he hired me a quad bike and we adventured around Greece for about a week after that. You can see the epic adventure in full on my channel. The coolest part about this story is that after I released this video, Malik saw it and he must have liked it, because a few years later he messaged me, "Hey, I'm filming a food tour throughout Thailand, Vietnam and the Philippines. Do you want to be my media guy and I'll pay for everything?" And so late last year, that is exactly what I did. And Malik and I are still great friends to this day. All of this started from initiating a conversation with a stranger. Learn to do it, never stop practicing it, and very soon you will have friends from all over the world. Join me next time where I will talk about how to travel solo and why you should do it. And if you haven't checked out my other how to travel videos, I discuss how to book cheap flights and accommodation while simultaneously seeing the best places and locations that that place has to offer. And if you're in need of some inspiration of places to travel, then go look at the other videos that I've made of stunning places I've been fortunate enough to explore so far. My name is Nathaniel, and this is Nathaniel's Life. Thank you for watching.